Welcome everybody to the Hardforking channel and our weekly crypto update show. Welcome to my co-hosts, Jesse, Leanne, and special guest, Baloo.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Two technical analysts for the price of one today, people. How good's that? So much happening, we thought we'd get them both on. So on that note, should we jump straight into the BTC chart?
Right, the Bitcoin chart. We are still surfing the waves. We've tested the... I had a 49k zone as the retest area. We didn't quite make it. We hit the 48k area and we seem to be cooling off now. So can we hold the daily open here? I think, 45k. I'm watching the monthly open area, which is also the top of my green wave. So if we do take a bit longer to cool off, I think this is the area that I'm really keen to watch for as a rebuy zone, the 41.5, where we retest the breakout area.
Baloo, thoughts on BTC before we jump into ETH?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. You know, we came up against resistance underneath the bottom of the distributional area, right around that $50,000 to $48,000 level. We tested it, and we're now retracing to confirm support. So, nothing out of the ordinary. This is still bullish, in my opinion.
Okay, very good. Let's have a look at what ETH is up to.
Every time I do the Ethereum chart, I just think it's called the Sean chart because you're obsessed with Ethereum. So surfing the waves also, we did, as I said last week, we powered straight through that local resistance area of 2800, and the monthly open again is the place I'm watching for a pullback and retest zone. So around the 2500 mark is where I would reload for a new long. So yes, again, it's just dependent on Bitcoin, but that's the zone I'm watching.
So before the next chart, I thought I would share this quickly. This is just been released, Chainalysis Global Crypto Adoption Index, and some real surprises on this one actually. Now this is per capita. So they've basically used three metrics to come up with this: trading activity, peer-to-peer exchange volume, and trading activity of non-professional users, peer-to-peer exchange volume. So this isn't obviously the countries with the highest volume in effect per head of population who's using crypto the most. We have Vietnam, number one. We've had a couple of projects from that country on the channel, but obviously Nigeria has seen huge crypto adoption, Venezuela also, but yeah, I was really surprised to see India and Pakistan at the right at the top of this list. Interestingly, we've got Afghanistan on this list as well, which kind of leads us into a bit of a quick chat here on the use case of Bitcoin specifically. Obviously, capital controls have been a big one. That's why I think we've seen China crack down on its population using Bitcoin. They are trying to stop capital outflows, which Bitcoin and Tether have been used extensively over the last few years in that country. But yeah, thoughts on this chart, people?
I find it interesting, the correlation between ease of access to financial instruments and the adoption of cryptocurrency. You know, we have some, like USA is 0.2% of the global adoption, whereas countries like Vietnam, India, and Pakistan, traditional financial instruments as simple as a bank account are harder to get. So it's kind of, you know, almost too simple in that, you know, when people have access just through the application of a phone, they're going to go to it. They're going to gravitate in that direction.
I think, you know, a lot of these countries here, obviously they've got currencies that are in bad shape. And for me, that's always been a great use case of Bitcoin. You can literally walk through the airport with your net worth in your head. Let me share this with you. My foray into the NFT world has been derailed, unfortunately. I went to buy my cricket NFTs. Sold out. How's that, Sean?
You're new.
Didn't get in there in time. You
gotta be there for launch, man.
Maybe
you gotta pay $1,500 in gas fees.
Yeah.
We've seen Lionel Messi move from Barcelona to Paris Saint-Germain. That part of his payment was actually in fan tokens. I think we mentioned that last week. I think these sports tokens and these fan tokens, I really think this is how, clubs are going to be funded moving forward here. I totally see how this is evolving. Tom Brady's investment, DraftKings. So this has just launched. There's a huge amount of action happening in that sort of fan-supported NFT space. I think it's going to be huge. I mean, we're already seeing it, NBA Top Shot. So watch this space on the cricket NFTs, people, because I am going to be getting some.
One of these days.
One of these days.
I'll have the last laugh.
I think Sean's cricket NFTs are as boring as cricket can be itself sometimes.
Cricket is not boring, Leanne.
Cricket is
5 days of joyous watching.
Cricket.
My country, the world champions, by the way.
It's the thing I put on in the background to feel like I'm back in Australia or something at a barbecue, but I don't actually watch it.
They got the short ones now.
Yeah,
right?
one day.
It's just a few hours.
One day. What's it called? One day.
Only one full day.
Yeah.
One day.
Day-nighters.
Here's a great little clip, by the way, of what people think of cricket and British sports in general that I came across earlier today.
Yes, we've seen not much of that, Ted. And there goes. A little wide. But very nice for the two elders over, Bob. Yes.
So, a big mover, Audius, and our very own Mathematics has some of this token, has been playing around in that community. So let's have a look at the chart first and then get your thoughts on what it's all about.
Audius. I'm trying a new feature on TradingView today, and I've inserted Jesse's tweet from.
Oh, I love it when you insert my tweets.
Like, I'm not even going to say anything to that. And actually what it does, it pins it back to the spot. So this is where you started talking about it, Jesse, and you brought it to our...
I fucked it up.
You brought it to our viewers' attention and to our attention. And then it did like a full retrace right down again. But we did get some... I wasn't watching it, but I know that you were holding it still because you're participating on the platform, and it's had such strong break out of this reaccumulation range down here. So it's hitting the 100% extension though, so it's a little bit, we're getting towards overheated territory, but at the moment that doesn't seem to be a reason to stop these trains at the moment, which we'll look at Sol in a minute. But I've just put a price target up here of around $6 at the 1.618 fib. So if you're holding that, fantastic. Have some price targets set to take profit. And if you want to trade it, wait for some sort of pullback and consolidation to take the next leg up.
A huge part of this show is obviously telling you about our experience with different projects. So, Jesse, what has been your experience with Audius? What do you think of it?
Well, I'll put it this way. I've been making music and been involved in, you could say, like artist communities for music on the internet since I was a kid. And I started way back on a website called D-Music, and it was this wonderful, almost Facebook of music where you would post music, comment on other people, and then it was very community, or like you started to become friends with all these artists, and it was amazing. I spent almost all my time on this website when I was making music. It was, and before social media really was big.
Is it like the MySpace of the music?
It felt like that. It felt exactly like that. And it was very, very tight-knit. So I loved that beyond belief. And then as time went on, there were other platforms. And then, eventually SoundCloud, where SoundCloud is not very community. It's not as community-driven. So what I liked about Audius when I signed up was a few things. One is that it's very kind of clean and well organized and runs smoothly. It looks nice, feels nice, it feels right, it feels good. And I noticed right off the bat that the community is pretty legit. Whether it's in the Discord, where there's constant remix competitions, or people just chatting about this and that, giving each other like, I review yours, you review mine. There's a lot of that going on. So Audius was impressive on multiple levels for me. And then you throw in the fact that there's crypto, which that part has, strangely enough, that's the part that doesn't really strike me as very innovative at the moment. I don't see a whole lot of point in the Audius. I have audio token because I can call myself a silver tier. I only have a silver tier amount. But what does that get me? It gets me access to some useless room in a Discord. Sorry, it's just useless to me. I see a future in their platform. I definitely see that their community is strong and it's growing, and just the UI and all of it together is very impressive. But I haven't seen any crypto-based reason in which I can benefit or want to be a part of their platform and community more. Because I'm a crypto fiend, I would love for that to be more of something that I'm going there for. Otherwise, it's just a cool music site, which is good for sharing and hearing new music. That's great. But I want a little bit. I want more of the crypto world involved somehow.
It's really important to get into these projects, look at them, get on the application, do some basic hands-on research when you're looking at these new projects, and ask the most important question: when do I buy the token? At what point am I forced to buy the token? That, in other words, is called demand. Where is the demand for this token? And it's very hard to find any reason to be buying the Audius token. You don't need it to upload the music. The leaderboards, top 5 playlists and top 5 songs that get an Audius payout. But, we're kind of in that part of the market where the news is really pushing the price aggressively. So this kind of reminds me of the previous cycle when IOTA announced a partnership with Microsoft. We have this big name brand, this big, TikTok. TikTok is incorporating or integrating with Audius. And where everybody's mind goes is they're like 1.6 billion people are going to buy Audius tokens. And it's just not the case. There's no reason for them to do it. The whole integration is for TikTok creators who also have their own music that they create or other people that they want to promote to have a plugin so that they can get music onto the program that isn't just, the top 40 or, these popular record label companies, these labeled brands. It's a way for you to push your independent project. But the notion that 1.6 billion people are going to be buying Audius tokens is just complete nonsense. So the market's overpricing it, in my opinion.
The only thing about this TikTok announcement that's good for someone like me is that I actually was excited to hear the news simply because I thought, oh, cool, that's 1 point whatever billion TikTok users that are now going to be able to maybe fall upon my song when they're looking for a soundtrack for their video. Mm-hmm. So I was excited about it, but not for my tokens that I'm holding or anything like that. I was just excited that my music might be more accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
On that note, we're also going to have a look at this one here, which looks like it's very much in the same realm. It is called One Of. We've got a chat coming up with their business development manager, so that'll be on next week's show, supposedly backed by Quincy Jones. So stay tuned for that one next week, people. Okay, next chart. What do you got for us, Leanne?
I've got Sol.
You've got Sol.
I've got Sol. I've got Sol. As you know, I'm a big fan of Sol, and I've inserted another tweet because now that I've got tweet inserted.
How could you?
I'm cheating on you with Sol.
You're tweeting on me.
Yeah. So the reason I put this tweet in, it was because the DGen Ape Academy was all over Twitter this week. They had an overload of demand, and it's, people were buying their apes with their souls. So they had record volume, over $4 million in turnover that day for the NFTs, and they had a few hiccups, but I actually like how they handled it. They handled it quite well. So that was the news for Sol. We had that, I said to your viewers and in Crypto Jungle and in Skill Incubator that I entered a trade around the $36 mark. And we've done 100% move since then, and now we're hitting some, 1.618 fib, which I started to take profit on. I started down here to take profit, and I've started up here to take profit, and I'm still holding 50% of my position, and will evaluate accordingly if it does starts to roll over. However, I am going to hold a core position for the future, but that's kind of been paid for now with this trade. So it's free lunch money now. So Sol's just been on an absolute rip. So if you got into Sol, have a think about your profit taking plan. It's really hard to take profits. I've mentioned that in the group in the Crypto Jungle too, and Skill Inc., that it's just when you're feeling really euphoric, it's very difficult to trim profit. But I've been really disciplined in doing that.
I sold this one way too early, so I'll certainly be looking for another entry if there is any correction there. I think it's looking like a good long-term hold, that project, isn't it?
Yep.
Or that platform.
Yeah, well, if they're trading NFTs, on it now, that's a whole different story, isn't it?
The herd of NFT fiends and NFT degens, if this could just be the beginning of the Solana NFT boom. Not financial advice, I'm purely speculating here, but we see these waves of adoption and these waves of interest and demand.
Yep. And we're big Sam fanboys, so boys and girls.
You sure are. So the other thing to note, one of our first ever video, Jesse, the first one we ever made, ended up on some international press yesterday. So here's a quick look at that. It's our good friends, the Bitcoin family. So, famous for going all in. I have really sort of got to a point where I'm kind of living completely in the crypto world now. We were flashing our To The Moon cards around last week, and I think we've got Jay Saz coming back on next week. Is that correct, Leanne?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have more of an in-depth chat with him about that card. But yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin family are 100% in crypto. To what degree are the four of us all in on crypto? Jesse, give us your sort of rundown of how crypto dominates your life or doesn't.
There's so many different avenues in the crypto space that if you're not into this, I mean, it's really kind of cool how you could be a nerdy, hardcore 13-year-old gamer and be into crypto, or you could be like a 68-year-old, like, I don't know, fucking oil enthusiast who's really into crypto. And no matter what, they're both going to somehow be equally like able to talk on the same topic, even though they're coming in from such different angles. But yeah, in terms of my stacks, it looks like my Ethereum and Bitcoin are still, the main ones, and I'm still reeling and recovering from 2017 in a weird way. Mm-hmm. I'm still kind of like regathering pieces of me to get to be full. But all in all, I'm doing well.
To what degree do you live in a crypto world, Leanne?
Very degenerately overexposed. No, I don't say overexposed. I am making I've made a decision I'm about 80% crypto. Now, I don't recommend that for everybody, but that's what I'm comfortable with in the space. And I live a lifestyle that I also, like Diddy, I am moving around, like all of us, right? And at some point you have to work out what works for you as a nomad, and what has the best ease, what how can I move around seamlessly around the world and not have to rely on anything? So for me, that's holding a large portion in crypto, and I'm comfortable with that. I still have 2017 PTSD, but I got through that in the last year. But I did notice remnants of that coming back. But, now that we've got stable coins and USDC and all those sorts of things, that makes it a bit easier to sort of manage risk and move things into that. And still carry it around, in your pocket kind of thing. So more and more I'm really comfortable with holding a large portion in crypto. I don't have any debt. I don't want to live like that, so it makes sense to me to hold crypto. I have a roof over my head that's paid for quite a few years. So I'm good. I'm very exposed and I'm very comfortable with that risk.
What about you, Baloo?
To what degree do I live inside of the world of crypto? I would say my whole life is inside of the world of crypto. As far as exposure with my investments, I would probably say currently very similar to Leanne, the upper tier of irresponsible. With a lot of the products and protocols that are coming out inside of DeFi and the uprising of the stable coins and stabilized currencies and all of the different products that we have available, I see a world in 5 years where you will have the option. You'll have the option. Do you want to be 100% in crypto, or do you want to be, 50% in crypto? Whatever the case may be, you will have the option to fully exist inside of that ecosystem. I don't think it's quite ready yet. I'm still very much connected to the traditional finance world. I've got my bank accounts, I've got, property and mortgage, and, there is no crossover just yet, but give it some years and it'll be optional.
Yeah. Well, I'm 100% in crypto, have been for quite a while now. My entire income is in crypto. Obviously, with crypto debit cards now, I'm able to pay for everything via crypto. So, yeah, my life is 100% crypto.
You literally don't have 2 cents to rub together, the old expression.
I don't have any fiat, no. Nothing. Not absolutely zero. So yeah, I'm 100% in crypto.
Don't go to the pub.
It can be done. I mean, somebody said to me the other day, well, what about mortgages, this type of thing? And interestingly, I see in today's news that the second biggest mortgage lender in the US, a company called United Wholesale Mortgage, will start accepting crypto payments this year. So, that was sort of maybe the one large purchase that might be on my horizon that I thought, shit, can that be done? It can. There's also a lot of fractionalized real estate companies out there now as well that are tokenizing real estate. So look, as Baloo said, 5 years, I think it might happen sooner. Obviously, we're sort of at the hardcore forefront here, but for the masses, this is coming a lot quicker than people expect. I think on that note, the Lightning Network has just gone past 25,000 nodes. That's seeing some real exponential growth at the moment. So it's all on. It's happening, people.
No.
Actually crossed 1 billion in volume last week. It's actually the 1,200th most hit website in the world now.
I think we're all degenerately long axy, aren't we, by our investment in time in the space.
When you say Lightning Network, I get this strange, it's not from me, but I get the strange memory of maybe more than one person kind of scoffing at the Lightning Network and saying,
It'll never work.
It's never going to do it. It's never going to work. It's never going to do anything. Does that see? I mean, that was a while ago that I remember, and who knows? It was probably back when we were interviewing BSV people, and they were probably shitting all over it. But what is the sentiment on that now? I mean, does Lightning Network seem more feasible, or there's more light at the end of the tunnel?
I'll send you an application, Jesse. I tried to get Sean on it, but his invite expired. There's a new app called Sphinx Chat, and you can send messages via the Lightning Network. So it's carrying data and carrying Satoshis. We can pay each other. It's kind of like WeChat, where you can do peer-to-peer payments, and it runs the SMS network. There's a lot of development that just quietly appeared. I'm starting to pay attention to the Lightning Network a lot more. And did you guys know that Taproot is smart contracts? Basic, primitive smart contracts? So the Taproot upgrade is actually going to introduce complex, for Bitcoin transactions, complex if-then execution type contracts, which is pretty interesting because we're getting to that point where certain applications, predominantly in the financial system, I think there's still a place for, Ethereum and a lot of the innovation that we're seeing in the Web3 services that we have currently. But for a security purpose, like Bitcoin's the most secure. So introducing smart contracts and stuff, there's a lot coming down the pipe with Lightning, and it's pretty cool.
You mentioned Taproot. Obviously, that implementation is about to happen, along with Schnorr signatures. And found it very interesting in today's news. We've got this article here. Bitcoin mixing CEO has pleaded guilty to money laundering charges. 350,000 Bitcoin went through his platform, which is worth around 16 billion in today's money. But effectively for me, mixing coins is really just giving you the same functionality as a bank account. Currently, if you send somebody a Bitcoin or a fraction of a Bitcoin, they can see exactly what's in your wallet. Now, the whole point of a blockchain is, an open public ledger. But, for me, do we need to see how much everyone's got in their wallets when we're transacting with each other? No. So, this whole issue of mixing, of coin join, I still see issues on the, in the coming years. I know the Bitcoin community is very divided on this issue. So the whole issue of tainted Bitcoin is one that I think is going to come up in the very near future. Thoughts on this one, Baloo?
I think that there are so many questions and there are so many products that are being offered. There's so many doors that are being opened as a result of just having a blockchain. Regulation doesn't know what to do, and they can't really wrap their head around the fact that there's nothing they can do. This is going to exist from one way or another. You can restrict access through platforms, but that's it. If you find another way to get access to these things will exist. So you're far better off trying to figure out a way to not ban these technologies, because it's a losing battle. And given enough time, I'm sure large Fortune 500 companies, if they're doing Bitcoin transactions, they might, for whatever reason, want to mix the coins to get rid of any, tainted Bitcoin or whatever. The technology's here. It's not going away. So work with it, because you're not gonna be able to beat it. I understand the arguments, but yeah.
Well, just in light of the topic at the start of the show, I've got this image that was quite powerful. That the passengers on board, when they were scrabbling to get out of Kabul, and the reason I'm bringing up this photo is, I guess a few weeks ago and over the years, I always use the scenario of a person fleeing their country as a really good use case for Bitcoin. And I'm not professing that these people even had access to that, but the photo reminds me of this question: can you leave your home, your country, within an hour? Safely and with your money intact, and Bitcoin is the solution to that. Crypto is a solution to that. And I look at those people and my heart breaks, because many of the countries we're living in are emerging nations as well, where people don't have bank accounts, and the use case for crypto is just enormous. And I feel really fortunate that we're all in this space. But when I see photos like that, it really reminds me of why we're all so passionate about Bitcoin for these sort of reasons.
Yes, it's non-political money would be one way to look at it. For me, it's I just think it's a basic human right that we can all trade globally with each other without being told what we're allowed to do with our own value, with our own money. So, it's just awesome to be in this space. There's a lot of great people here. I think a lot of the crap's getting weeded out. People are getting a little more, a lot smarter about what's going on in crypto. So, yeah, exciting times, people. Final thoughts, Jesse?
Just be kind to your neighbor and try to be honest with each other.
Leanne,
That's all I
final
got.
thoughts for today?
Well, I just had probably my final thought with the Afghani image, but I'll just end it on a lighter note with, I don't have anything funny. I'll just put the mixing bowl on my head that my microphone stands on. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I could give you a cool haircut with that.
How about, I usually do something funny, Baloo, at the end of the show, so...
There you go. Am I supposed to laugh now?
Okay,
laugh track.
and finishing today's show, Baloo, do something funny. No pressure.
That's the worst.
We're waiting.
There.
We're not leaving until you do something funny. Let's go.
Thank you all.
That was pretty funny.
Brilliant. There you
All
go,
right.
people. That's your crypto update. Join us later today for our live show. We've also got the interview with the growth lead from Axie Infinity, Jiho. We'll be posting that later today also. Thanks for joining us, and thank you so much to my co-hosts. We'll see you all later today. Cheers now.
Later.